Hello, and welcome to Let's Talk. If you're brand new here, this is a series that I started doing where I just sit down with the camera, have a really quiet and relaxed night, and discuss whatever the topic happens to be, and hopefully instill a bit of advice to whoever's watching. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Today's topic is going to be about how did you know what you wanted to be? Now, growing up, I was always asked this. I was always being told by people that you need to know where you want to be or what you want to do when you're older, where you want to focus your time and efforts and career choice and all this stuff. I never really got to grips with that. Instead, I ended up being home educated from about year 5. All the way up till college, pretty much. I wasn't getting on at school. I think a part of that was down to behavioral issues, but teachers back then didn't really know how to diagnose or deal with that sort of thing. Mental illness and awareness was very different back then. It was just more of a fact of, he's a problem child. Not that I can fault my teachers for that, it was a different time. Growing up, I then enjoyed being home educated because it gave me a chance just to relax and just pursue things that I was genuinely interested in. Not that that's a positive, it meant that I ended up doing a lot of things that weren't work related because I just wasn't interested. For that, I'm not exactly the greatest at maths. I'm all right with geography and history, but I am quite lacking in certain areas. So when I was growing up, I didn't really have a lot of the basic knowledges that you would have. Instead, I went down the route of pursuing my hobbies and interests. I found a hobby. Well, I found 2 actually. I found one which was voice acting. This came as a joke one day when I had talked to a friend of mine about the rebranding or the reboot of the My Little Pony series, and then suddenly got very engaged in the world, the voice acting, and all those qualities of it, and wanted to pursue a line doing voice acting myself. Something I did just as fun with a group of people. We would do live streams, and I would just voice the occasional character on that. But that really appealed to me, so I pursued it more, invested in small pieces of equipment, microphones or acoustic paneling, pop filters. I started buying things that made my hobby even more fun for me to do. And then secondly, I started doing YouTube. Now, YouTube was a big defining factor for me because I thought the idea of content creation, making things from scratch and coming up with some crazy ideas and editing that down into a final product, I thought that was really, really interesting. So I, in the very, very early days of YouTube, started trying to create content for it. It weren't great, it was badly edited, comedy was awkward, there was a lot of problems, but I had fun. That was the point. It was a hobby, it was something that was to kill time, it was a general interest that I pursued. Thanks to that, I had a great understanding of how to use the cameras, how to understand audio equipment, editing, and I got really, really smart with my hobby. I spent a lot of time learning and understanding cameras, understanding terminologies, what are frames per second, how are frames per second different from your shutter speed, and all those things. I hadn't really decided that was something I wanted to go down in as a career. It's just something that I enjoyed doing. And I was like, do you know what? This is quite fun, actually. I wonder if there's specific fields that can help me learn this hobby better or be smarter at it. So I then started looking for courses that pretty much ticked the boxes for what I got out of my hobby. An example of this was when I went to college. I found a course that was called Creative Media. It taught me the principles of working with radio and that media broadcasting system, which allowed me to do better things with my voice acting. It gave me a course on photography, which was something that I was fairly green at, but it appealed to me quite greatly, working with photo manipulation software and creating original thoughts and ideas invoked from feelings and philosophical conversation and just all that fancy-smancy stuff. There was video creation, which was mainly doing short films and music videos and things of the like. And then there was theory. Theory was okay. I don't think anyone really enjoys the theory side of things, but allegedly some people do. So I then started going to college learning, and at this point I still wasn't looking at this as a career. I sat there and thought, well, I love making videos, let's do a course that makes me better at it. And I did get better at it. And then I was at college for about 3 years. And during that time, towards the tail end, everyone was saying, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? Are you want to going into the media field? What side of it do you want to do? Do you want to do radio? Do you want to do film? Do you want to do photography? And then there's loads of other niches and avenues from that. Again, I was quite overwhelmed. I was like, well, I don't know, I just enjoy doing this. I was this close to doing my own thing and making a company. Just doing whatever, really. There was no drive, there was no direction. It was just going to be a company that did film. I then spent the time researching what the next step could be. I originally didn't want to go to university. I was opposed to the idea of university, the idea of paying money for tuition fees and pretty much paying to get smart. I thought it was just a bit of a joke and not really worth my time. But then I went to one open day with my old university, FutureWorks. Now, I, at the time, again, was I don't know why I decided to do it. I think the person talking to me about the university really sold it to me and was like, well, this is a really cool university, you should check it out. And I went down there and it had everything that I wanted to do, but streamlined it. Had all the equipment that I could never afford there available for me to rent out for whatever project. It was a goldmine of inspiration for me, and I had never come across something like that before. It gave me a real sense of potentially an idea of where I wanted to go. So I made a leap. I was there for 3 years and discovered that my hobby could actually become a source of income, an actual career. I found that people will pay you to make music videos. People will pay you to make advertisements for them. And then people will pay you to help them make adverts themselves. I found that my hobby was actually what I wanted to do. I found that media inspired me to want to be better, smarter, to grow and learn and discover more things. So I went to university, and in the first 2 years, maybe even 3, I was 100% sure I wanted to be an assistant director. Now, an assistant director is pretty much the left-hand person of the director. Your job is to make sure everything runs on time. Your job is to make sure that the crew is organized and where they need to be. You're there to make sure people are getting through the shots not necessarily as quick as they can, but as efficiently as they can, and make sure that the overall vibe on set is good. It's a tough role, but at the time, I thought I could be it. I had a sense of pride and accomplishment, thinking I could be that person, that reliable left-hand person who on set everyone is going crazy, going bananas, but here comes the AD. They stand up and go, we're doing this, and the entire room just knows what's happening from there on. That's what I thought I wanted to do. But it wasn't. Towards the last 3rd year of my university, I discovered that that's not what I actually wanted to do. I had discovered that I wanted to have a career in media, but I didn't want to be an assistant director. So I still didn't know what I wanted to be. Even after 3 years of college and 3 years of university, I was exiting that building, unsure of what I was. But I then started to narrow it down when I left. I got a few jobs working on different sets, and then found that there was a specific role on set that really shined for me. It was pretty much the light at the end of the tunnel, quite literally. And I decided to go down the route of being a gaffer. / best boy / Sparky. I don't know if best boy exists anymore. Hopefully it does. But in essence, a lighting technician. Working with lights, working with the setups, making sure it's all rigged correctly to get a beautiful outcome for a visual piece. I thrived at that. I still do other things. I've still done work doing photography. I still get paid to do videography at times and filming adverts or filming live performances. Heck, I still earn money doing voice acting. But my career is that of a lighting technician. And it took me nearly 7 years to discover that. From when I was starting off doing YouTube for fun, making Let's Plays, highlight videos, heck, even fan fiction readings. When I sat down and did those videos, I never thought I'd be in the position that I'm at now. So over 7 years later, someone who's talented at being lighting technician, always spending their time learning and grafting at that craft to be the best they can. And I'm still learning. I'm still going up that hill of knowledge, trying to be better at what it is, understanding what each piece of equipment or each different type of technique or method is, and making my craft even better than it already currently is. I'm always hungry to grow. And that's how I know that that's a career that I want to do. If every day I wake up and think, I get to work with lights, I get to work with creating something from nothing and being the guy who makes it look that bright, beautiful, colorful image that it will finally be, it fills me with a huge sense of pride. But I never knew I wanted to do that until a lot of trial and error. I tried a lot of things. I did a lot of different courses before going to college. I did work employment stuff. I did stuff with Princess Trust. I did a whole bunch of type of group activity things for me to understand what I excelled in, and I still didn't know until now. Don't worry about not knowing what you want to be. Some people go through their entire lives never knowing what they want to be and still don't. If you can do a job that you're happy to do, every day you wake up for it, every day you sit there and send yourself out into the world to work that job, if you can be happy doing that job, that's good enough. It may not be what you want to do for the rest of your life, but if you're at least happy with your work, you're more fortunate than most. And if you do know what you want to do, and you've got a career path and an exact direction that you want to take your life, then pursue it. Keep doing it. Keep pushing as hard as you can to achieve that and go further. I'm always spending my time learning more things, buying more equipment, understanding my trade that little bit better. And that's never going to slow down. It's just going to grow and grow as the years progress. And I look forward to showing that off. That's something I really am passionate about and want to share on this channel for everyone to see. I want to show some behind the scenes work when I'm working on set for you guys to understand what it's like. It's my career, and I'm quite proud to be the person who's good at it. So don't worry if you don't know what you want to be. It took me until 25 years of age to know what I wanted to be. There's nothing wrong if it took me until 30, took me until 40. Sometimes you don't even know what you want to be, even after that. But is that such a bad thing? Some people go through their entire life not knowing certain things, and I don't think knowing where you want to go with your life is crucial. Especially with career. Work will come and go. People will come and go. And at the end of the day, you're at the mercy of whatever the narrative your life takes. It might be a good story. Might be easy, might be fun. And then it also might be shit. It might be difficult, it might be upsetting. But whatever your story is, it's yours. So don't stress so much if you don't know where it's going to end or where it's going to lead. Just take every opportunity you can get. Try different things, and every time you hesitate and you think, oh, maybe I shouldn't try it, fuck it. What have you got to lose? This has been today's episode of Let's Talk. Join me next time and we will be discussing another topic in depth. Not sure what it will be yet, but hopefully it's something that can help. If you've taken something away from this video that's helped you out, then please feel free to comment down below and tell me what it is that you've learned from it. Or if it hasn't, if you've got any questions that you want as follow-ups, I'll respond to them as quickly as I can. If there's any topics you guys want me to discuss next time, feel free to suggest it down below as well. Make sure to go check out the links in the description for my Reddit, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, anything. Just go check out the description. And from me, zeewhitewolf, have a nice evening. Goodbye.